guys, I'm KiKi and I am so freaking excited right now because y'all, just 2 weeks ago, I almost lost my life and I was battling one of the most craziest situations I've ever battled in my life. So before I start this video and tell you my story, I need to say thank you guys so much for 1 million subscribers. We finally did it. Do my happy dance, hey! I am so happy to reach 1 million subscribers and I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for helping me reach my goal. Let's go ahead and jump into my crazy story of how I almost died.
I can't understand where it came from, but you got it.
So yeah, I am so freaking nervous right now because this is going to be the first time that I've ever told anyone this story. I gotta rewind you guys to the time that I was pregnant. So I was pregnant and I was happy carrying my baby, but sadly the baby passed away inside of my stomach. So for months I was sitting here waiting for the day that the baby literally would just come out of my body, and it never happened, y'all. So 2 weeks ago, I was at home by myself and my doctor had prescribed me a pill. You're supposed to wake up, take the pill with no food. 30 minutes after I took that pill, I was laying in bed and all of a sudden I felt like my entire body was about to turn on me. So I called my father on the phone and I tell my father, listen, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm in a lot of pain. The doctor tells me to take this and this should help me feel better. While I'm waiting for my father, I'm calling my boyfriend. Now my boyfriend works in 1 hour away from where I live at. So I'm sitting here calling my boyfriend, telling him I'm in so much pain. I don't know what's going on. Like, I need help. I was thinking that my boyfriend can at least calm me down, even though he worked an hour away. And this guy, he took off of work and he drove 1 hour to my house just to make sure I was okay. Even though my father was already on his way, my boyfriend still left work to come and be next to me by my side, which meant the world to me. My dad, he just comes walking into the house and he has his wife with him. So his wife is there, my dad is there, and my boyfriend is there. My dad's wife is in the kitchen cooking me some soup. I'm still in the bed, feeling a lot of pain. As she's cooking the soup, I just remember going to the bathroom, TMI, but just bleeding, feeling a lot of pain going on. So I get back in bed and then the pain starts getting worse. I'm screaming and I'm just in a lot of pain. My dad's wife gave me some soup. After I took maybe a few spoons full of the soup, I ended up sitting on the bed and just vomiting all of the soup up. My dad is holding a bucket in front of my face and I'm vomiting inside of the bucket while my boyfriend is holding my hair. It was the worst situation that I've literally experienced. My body is rejecting myself. It was like I could not control myself. So my boyfriend and I took my temperature and it came back that I had a fever. Once I figured out that I had that fever, I just knew that it was literally countdown to the moments that I wasn't gonna be there anymore. And then it got worse. I went to the bathroom, threw up for the last time. I'm sitting on the bathroom floor with my boyfriend next to me. We're sitting at the toilet, throwing up. My boyfriend looks at me and he says, you have to be strong. You have to sit up. And I couldn't sit up. I couldn't hold myself up, y'all. I was so weak. This is the weakest that I've ever been in my life. So my boyfriend was trying to get me off the floor. He was trying to pick me up to take me to the car. Someone calls 911 and we just, as they were sitting there and I'm sitting there screaming to the top of my lungs, waiting for the ambulance to come, it took them 15 minutes to get to me. Sitting there screaming and vomiting and everything is happening. My world feels like it's ending and I can't do anything about it. So the EMT people show up at my apartment and they come inside with this really long bed. My leg was not working at all, so they had to literally pick me up to put me onto the stretcher. I remember leaving out of my apartment, it was like this really big bump they had to go over. And as soon as they hit that bump, that's when I just started screaming. Y'all, that bump was so painful, it killed me inside. They pulled me outside and as we're outside, I just remember rain just dripping down on me as I'm on the stretcher and I'm just freezing cold and shivering and in pain and so much is going on. My boyfriend, he ended up riding in the ambulance with me. For some reason, he wasn't in the same area as me. He must have been up front where the driver was because I just remember being in this ambulance with this one EMT lady and to be honest, she was being very, very rude to me the entire time. She didn't have any compassion for what I was going through. As soon as we arrived to the hospital, they rushed me into the ER. We get there and there is that doctors surrounding me, asking me all of these questions. They're like, what are you here for? Blah, blah, blah. And all I can think about is just all of the pain that I'm in. I'm literally sitting there screaming to the top of my lungs. I am in so much pain. I kept telling them that I felt like I'm about to pass out. I'm about to pass out. I'm about to pass out. And they took my temperature and I had a fever of 107, y'all. 107. Now, they didn't have a room available for me, so they ended up sending me down to some waiting room area where they had like a makeshift room somewhere. They didn't have any nurses in this room. It was just like this room where you wait. Luckily, my boyfriend was there because y'all, if my boyfriend wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened. Long story short, as I'm in this room, I almost fainted. I felt like my world was spinning in my head. And then all of a sudden, I started bleeding really, really heavy. And my boyfriend looks at me and he says, this is the most blood that he's ever seen. And he could not believe that someone literally bled that much amount of blood. I just remember not a nurse, like someone coming into the room, and she wasn't even alarmed to see that I was bleeding this much blood. I was passing out, like going to pass out, and I was bleeding a lot of blood, and I had a fever of 107, and no one was trying to help me. To be honest, I kept telling my boyfriend that these people are literally about to let me die in this room, and they're not going to help me. I had lost so much blood, y'all, that I was this close to dying. After all of this, they rushed me upstairs back to the ER, and I just remember being in this room. It was like a surgical room, and I'm thinking to myself like, oh my god, like I might be about to have surgery or something. I was very scared. I've never felt like I could not control myself waking up. I felt like I just wanted to go to sleep but not wake up, which was so scary to me. I was laying here on this bed, and every time I closed my eyes, it felt like I was losing consciousness. So I'm just like telling my boyfriend, please don't let me just die. Like, if anything happens, I love you. That's what I told him. I want to be with you forever. And oh my god, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. But I just remember telling my boyfriend that I love him so much. And I remember I called my mom on the phone, and my mom was telling me, just like, how are you? And I remember I told her that I'm trying to hold on. I told her I was trying to hold on because it felt like I was dying. It felt like I was literally sitting there dying. I was bleeding. I was in so much pain. I've never felt like that in my life. It felt like it was up to me to save my own life. I couldn't breathe, so I was trying to breathe in more air to help me breathe better, and it wasn't working. At any moment, it just felt like I was going to die. No, they did not care. Probably because it was an emergency room, but I have found out the reason why the doctors wasn't there for me is because there was a guy who came in, and I feel so bad for even saying this, but they had a call that he had cardiac arrest. So they had to move me out of the room that I was in to allow that guy to come into the room. They moved me out of the room, and as they moved me out of the room, the guy came in, and y'all, this guy died. Father and my boyfriend said that they can hear the doctors outside of the room trying to save this guy's life. They weren't trying hard to save his life. Like when you see in movies and things like that, you usually see them like trying to save someone's life for a long time. But in this case, they literally put him in the room, tried to save his life for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then they just let the guy die, and he just became another dead person in the hospital. Honestly, I knew for a fact that these people in this hospital, they would just let me die, and I would just become another one of those dead people that's in the ER that was already there. It was like, okay, I need to literally save my own life. So to make a really long story short, I ended up losing way too much blood, and I ended up having to have 2 blood transfusions. When you take other people's bloods and they put it inside of your body to help save you. So in my case, I had to get this blood to help save my life. I was in the hospital for 4 days. On day 2, I still did not have any surgery to remove the baby from my stomach or any parts of the baby from my stomach. They would not allow me to drink anything, and they would not allow me to eat anything in the hospital because they knew that I was going to have surgery in the hospital, but they just did not know when my surgery was going to be. So after being in the hospital for 2 days and starving so much, I ended up having surgery to remove the rest of the baby that was inside of my stomach. Someone walked into the room and she wanted me to sign a paper to let me know that during this surgery anything can happen. You can literally lose your life. I'm like, okay, let me just sign away my life right now. It was so crazy just to think about it. Like, I had to go through this surgery and I had no idea days before that I was going through surgery. It wheeled me down to the surgery area. Mom was here by my side, and I just remember it was so beautiful. Like, I don't know, the area was just pretty to me, and everybody was so happy and so friendly, and that just made me feel so calm and just so relaxed. The anesthesiologist came up to me. She was like, I'm gonna give you something to make you feel good. And after she said that, they wheeled me into the surgery room. There's a doctor there, and there's a bunch of people just everywhere. So many people surrounding me, and it was time for me to get my surgery. Before they put me to sleep, one of the girls in her room, she was like, we're gonna go to a party. Something like about a party. And I just remember before I went to sleep, just thinking about the party. I remember waking up in a whole totally different room. My surgery was over. After my surgery, they put me into this other room, and this room was super nice, y'all. I had my own little bed, my own little couch in my room. I had a bathroom. I am just so grateful and so happy that I was able to survive that situation. Whatever you are going through in life, you will always make it through. If you don't have anyone that loves you, just always know that I love y'all with every single part of my heart. Just be happy, smile, and keep faith, and just know that I love y'all so much. So don't forget to like this video, share this video with one of your friends, and as always, I love you guys also very much. Thank you so much for watching.